Okay, I guess the alternator is working now. So the voltage sensor, the V-sense wire, which is that little 1 amp fuse, I guess that's really important. I do have an issue with the tachometer. I'm getting 1500 on the tach, and I'm reading about 1000 on the little reflective stripe with the digital tachometer. Yeah, look at this. Look at this freaking belt dust. So maybe the belt is slipping a little bit. That's why I'm not maxing out. I'm maxing out at about 170 amps. But yeah, if this thing's making that much dust and running for, what, 15 minutes, that ain't good.
Hey, we're Jenny and Rich, and our stowaway is Twitchell the Marina Cat. We've been documenting the refit of our 1977 Toyota 37 Ramble on for the past several years. We're proud to say we've done 99.9% of the work ourselves. We've gained a lot of knowledge and experience in the process, and we're happy to pass that wisdom on.
So 975 RPMs, 135 amps at idle. And now we're making a little over 1200 RPMs, just about 150 amps. It's a lot quieter when you put the engine cover back on. So welcome back. Kind of been off the radar for a little while, just wrapping things up with getting through the holidays and just wrapping up work projects and whatnot. Haven't really been doing a lot on the boat. Probably won't be doing a lot on the boat until we actually get to the yard and haul out. So this is just something that needed to be taken care of. The issue was with the tachometer, not reading correctly because of the number of poles on the new Balmar 250 amp alternator. But the Balmar sells this, it's called a Tach signal stabilizer, and it's this little piece of circuitry here, and you use this little screwdriver to fine-tune a potentiometer, and you can adjust. You run from the alternator through this thing back to the voltage regulator, and then that signal goes back out to the alternator, and this thing fixes it. So if it's off, I think at 900 RPMs, we were pushing something like 1800 RPMs or something. So there's a definite difference in the signal that the tachometer is getting. Picked this thing up and was looking at a way to hook it up to make the wiring connections, and you got to go like this. So the alternator goes through the voltage regulator out to this thing, and before it goes to the tachometer, it has a little screw potentiometer thing. I had to get an ignition source and also a ground source, and the best way to do that, because of the harness, there's this plastic plug on there, and the way everything is wired up inside the battery compartment where the voltage regulator is, I came up with this thing to pirate these little connectors off of this black plug that goes to the voltage regulator. So that's really easy to do. You just take you take a flat screwdriver and you just slip it in, and then the wires will come out of this harness here. So you just do that and you can disconnect them. So I had to take the brown and black wire out of the actual harness, and then I'm going to make little pigtails that go to the correct terminals on this thing. And I got a couple of these little jumper connectors. So they're like saddle taps, and you can make two connections off of one thing. So on some of these, I got to double up on the poles in order to make them jumper back to the harness. So I got to crimp a thing onto this end, plug it into here, and then this will go like this from the voltage regulator to, from the voltage regulator to the little Tach signal stabilizer. So just, I'm going to pinch some wires together and then hook it all up and run the engine again and see how we do. All right, so I picked a spot next to the voltage regulator. Obviously, that's the location. And so like on the other one, I popped out these two wires. The black and the brown are the ones I need for ignition, and I need a source of ground. So I've got to make a jumper that goes into this harness. So there's going to be a group of wires here. Crimp some ends, and then I can put this. This is a Ford automotive wiring harness plug. It's pretty standard. I popped the tabs out of the other one. I'm going to install these little short jumpers into here, and then those will have tabs that go from this plug over to the adjustment thing. What do you call it? Tach signal stabilizer. Okay. Okay, so this is the harness, and these are the takeoffs. I've just made the jumpers to go to the controller thing. The adjustment stabilizer, signal stabilizer. I don't know why I can't remember that. So this is the ignition wire. This needs its own ignition source, so it gets the ignition wire from the harness, which runs up to the key switch. Oops. Sends it out to the forward harness. The black is the ground. That goes all the way back to the battery negative. And then the gray is the Tach feed, and the white is the stator output. So this goes to the tachometer one side. This goes from what the regulator thinks is the out to the tachometer, but it's to this thing, the stabilizer. Then you got the gray wire back into the harness and back up to the tachometer that's next to the key switch in the engine control panel. And then I just got to run the tachometer and then use my handheld image, the laser tach, to read off the flywheel, and then I just adjust accordingly. So through the magic of wireless communication, I've got the other GoPro in the cockpit recording the tachometer there, so I can set this one here. It's not going to be instantaneous adjustment, but I can use it as a starting point. So there goes that squeaky alternator belt again. It squeaked a little bit until it warmed up. Give it a little throttle. 1040. So I give you this guy, and I'm going to get that in that hole right there. So that's what I'm going to be turning. There we go. So now I'm going to turn it. And the RPMs are going up. So lefty, that just shot up to a little over 2. Turn it down. Now it's dropping. Still 1049, 1048, 1465. Pretty darn close. So I could have. So it's rating 1480. Back this thing up and wrap it up. It's probably the worst video I've ever made. At 1,000 RPMs, we're making 141 amps DC going into the batteries. We had the shore power off all day, and now we're sitting at 99%. So gets that batteries back up in a short period of time. So actually, I'm really pretty stoked with that. So, yeah, sorry about the audio. Leaning over the engine with a microphone on isn't good for audio quality. So despite that, hopefully you can see that just adjusting it, you can see the difference between the tach and the what you're reading on the crankshaft. In order to make it work, you have to check it on the flywheel and then check it at the tachometer and then make the adjustment accordingly. So it's kind of like a team effort. Now, I'm just happy we're making some amps, man. At idle, this thing is cranking out 150 amps. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked. So down here in the Delta, we had some power failures. And over the New Year's holiday, we had to actually top off the battery with the Honda generator. We were like 45 hours without power in like 36-degree temperatures at night. So we actually ran the Honda generator, and it was only putting in 80 amps, I think. 80 amps DC, something like that. Do that, yeah. Food drop. Anyway, thanks for watching. Yeah. Maybe we'll have some more videos for you coming up here pretty soon.